Hey traders, welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to be using the supply and demand Forex trading strategy. And the idea of this strategy is as a candlestick is moving up or down or whichever direction the market is trending toward, there will be we will identify a supply zone, whereby this would be where when the market re-enters this zone, we may want to consider a short position. And when the market moves down into a demand zone, so we identify a demand zone, this is where we will want to enter a long position. And we will continue moving, identifying and moving these zones throughout our trading today. So that's the general idea. This is personally one of my favorite strategies. I tried it on a live account. It seemed to have kind of worked. I think the accuracy is genuinely there. But again, let's dive in and see whether or not it works. All right, guys. So now we've dived in. You can see that I'm on the GBP USD pair. I'm on the 4-hour time frame, and I've already gone ahead and drew a supply zone at the demand zone. So these are the main indicators that we're going to be looking at today as we go along. So as I mentioned before, the idea is when the market enters this zone, so this red zone that I've drawn, there should be a likelihood that the market is going to be to then hit the zone and then move into the downtrend. And that's where we would use this, which would be our demand zone. So for example, here you can see if it enters this zone, it will hopefully lose momentum and move back into the uptrend. So that's the general idea. So I have looked at this strategy personally several times, and yeah, I'm not. There are a lot of things I need to figure out with this strategy, but let's see if I can do it today. So let's just let the market run a little bit first before we enter a trade. Again, this is on the 4-hour time frame before we can start drawing out a pattern. We have to speed this up on it. There we go. Right. Okay, so I can see there's a lot of movement happening here. Massive downtrend. Okay, so what I can do now is, you see here wick to wick. You can see that this was the last section of buying power. I guess you could draw it up here also. I'm not too sure. Like I said again, I've played with this strategy a few times. For me, it is kind of just like where I want to identify. So for you, you can, maybe draw it up here or draw it here. I'm going to put it up here because I feel like this is a pretty good area of supply. So what you can see here, so wick to wick, is after this candlestick, we saw that the market started going into a downtrend. And then it hit here. There's a massive surge into the downside. And yeah, I guess this is a pretty good location also. Buying out today, so idea is we would identify a green or a red. Actually, I think it's a red candlestick before it goes to the uptrend, so that we can consider that our demand zone, which this candlestick has now entered. We can see it's lost a bit of momentum. There's a massive downside, and based on general experience, when there is a huge downtrend in the market like this with this massive candlestick, this might be an indicator of a reversal. So what we can do is put in a long trade. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this, oh no, this isn't gonna work. 1 second. Let me just bring time frame down so the trade goes through. Via market executed. Okay, so I brought it market. Now I can push this back up and I can move my take profit. Okay, so let's try and aim back toward the zone, maybe. back toward the zone halfway. Again, I need to figure out yeah, back to the zone. I think is a pretty good.
Sell limit executed.
We
And exit with gains.
for the zone just in case. And let's try and have our stop loss below a lower previous low. So there's a previous low over here. I'll put my stop loss there. Okay, so let's see if this trade hands out. What am I aiming for? 181. Okay. I don't know why, but this platform has a tendency to remove my portfolio after a trade. I don't know why, so I need to work this down. Okay, it's gone all the way to the downside. This is not good for me. Okay, let's see. Let's move it too fast. Okay, so we're moving back into the uptrend, which is good. Hopefully we're gonna hit that TP, and we should see it execute. Look at that.
Exit with gains.
Exit with gains. See, now my portfolio has disappeared. It makes no sense to me. Okay, so first
Sell market executed.
plus $181 dollars or pounds, whatever. Don't look at the gain. That's just based on what we gain in the day, not overall. Okay, fantastic. So we can now see that it's gone from this zone, which, by the way, I guess this is where I should draw my demand zone. And now it's gone back up to our supply zone, right? So if it doesn't break this zone, so it starts to move again into the down zone, we can do the down zone. We can do a short position. So let's just see slowly where the market is going to move. Okay, so we can see we've lost a bit of momentum here. I'm going to enter a short position just to see. But I'm not going to hit a lower low. I'm going to hit a medium or midpoint low, and I'll put my stop loss just above that. So
Buy stop executed. Exit with loss.
right, for if we get wrong, minus 58. All right, let's see what happens with the market. It's going up. Look at that. Okay, so it's in that zone. Hopefully, it will go back to the downtrend after touching this zone point. So this is a supply zone. Oh, almost hit our TP. Look at that. Almost hit our TP. That's insane. It's frustrating. So it's kind of struggling to break above this zone. You can see it here. It seems to touch the zone, lose momentum, go back into the downtrend, and jump back up. All right. Oh, almost hit it. Oh, we got stopped.
Execute it.
We got stopped out.
And exit with loss.
Exit the loss. Yeah, this is what usually happens to me. Okay, so lost 58 pounds, $58, whatever it is. Okay, that did not work very, very well. So we need to kind of identify our new zones. Okay, so let's see if we can see a common. I guess this is still kind of like a demand zone though, right? This is a pretty big demand zone. Look at that. I mean, the red candle, huge into the uptrend. I feel like this is still a supply zone. Again, I'm not professional on this, trying to identify these zones. Let's just let the market play out a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so still, yeah, touches that supply zone. I think we kind of need kind of confirmation. It will go back into the downside. Okay, so it keeps breaking this point. Look at that. Okay, so it's gone into the upside. It's gone into the upside. I think we now want to move this zone, so our demand zone, to potentially, is it maybe this candlestick perhaps?
Buy at market executed.
It can become our new demand zone. So if it touches here, it should go back into the uptrend. And I don't know where to put this. Yeah, I did not see this back. This is the problem with learning Forex trading. Yeah, all of these
Sellers market executed.
Okay, let's just continue waiting and see, and then I'll draw out a new supply zone. Okay, so we've entered that demand zone, and you can see it went in, and then boom. That, I guess, gives us confirmation that this is definitely a demand zone. I don't know if this would validate as a supply zone by the end of that wick. Using the wick, that's a bit risky. Let's see. Let's put in a buy order anyway. We could execute it. Let's put it above. I don't think. Or let's just put it here into that supply zone. Yeah, I guess. No, it's a very tight. That's not really a very good TP, is it? Okay, I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna cancel these orders. We cancel these orders. Yeah, I'll cancel. So Marford exit. There it is. Yep. Let's just wait and see. Okay. All right. So it's going into the uptrend again. So you can see, right? The market went into our demand zone, right? And then it went into the uptrend. Then it hit this zone, or I guess you can just call it a resistance level. Once it touches into this resistance level, it goes all the way back to our demand zone, and then it slowly crawls back up. So I guess we can confirm that this is a demand zone. So next time it touches this our demand zone, we can put in a long position, hopefully. But I guess that's not going to happen now because it's already gone very far up. Okay. So I feel as though now this is going to become our new supply. This can become our supply zone. So when it touches this zone, we can put into a short position, I believe. And then we can make this our new demand zone. I think that's how it's going to work. Okay, let's see what happens. No, this is not working out the way I thought it was going to work. Okay, let's just continue to wait and see. I think I need to play around with the time frames a little bit better, don't I? Okay, let me just move this here. This is our demand, and then wow, there's a huge uptrend. Look at this. Okay. It's just going up. It's a massive uptrend. Okay, I need to wait until we see a bit of a downtrend. Otherwise, I don't know where our supply zone is. Just waiting for that confirmation of a supply. Look at this. It's just a huge uptrend all the time.
Buy at market executed.
Gosh, what's happening to the the USD to GBP? My lord, wow. So it's a 2. That's insane. So it's just all uptrend. Look at that. Look at that. How am I gonna know where my supply zones are? Yep, just uptrend.
Sell limit executed.
Wow, the US dollar.
Exit with gains.
Okay, finally. Here we go. We can finally see that there is a supply zone. Finally.
Sell market executed.
Let's use this here as our demand zone. Okay, now it's tapping into our demand zone. We can hopefully ride this up into the supply zone. This is going to be an awful trade. I can see this guy.
Buy and market executed.
Okay, so 53 pounds. Let's do 53. And let's hit the just below our supply, our demand zone.
Buy stop executed. Exit with loss.
And let's ride this out, see what happens. Okay, so it's tapped into our demand zone. It should reverse into the uptrend again. There, so you can see it's slowly going up. There we go. And it should execute it, take profit.
Exit with gains.
Exit with gains. Look at that. Wonderful. So now it's hit our supply zone. You can put it in a short
trade market executed.
Let's go into about here. So it's 59 plus if we get it right. And if I get it wrong, that's hopefully it doesn't go into that, but 34. Let's give it a try. Here we go back into that. No, don't get stopped out. Don't get stopped out. Oh my goodness.
Executed.
All right.
And exit with loss.
I exited with loss. All right, so minus 34. I like this strategy, I do, because I feel like there's logic here, but it's so hard to master. Also, these are 4-hour time frames, right? Like these candles, that's 4 hours, that's 4 hours, that's 4 hours. You're looking at a whole day of waiting here. Yes, I should drop down into lower time frames, and I will do that in later videos to try and refine a lot of the strategies that I'm covering, but I just wanted to see general overviews on how each strategy works and how they perform. When I start combining them with different time frames and playing around by integrating different strategies, then yeah, okay, it's hopefully we'll see a much better result in our profit. Which, by the way, I mean, just looking at this market, look at what's happening to the US dollar, to the GBP. I mean, what is going on? I don't even know what is where are we? Oh, this is 2007. Oh, okay. Okay, so at the year we're in is 2007. Okay, so we're leading up to a 2008 financial crisis. Good to know. So I didn't realize the GBP was this strong back in 2007. Wow, to the US dollar, almost $2 to one GBP. That's insane.
Executed.
Let's now identify where our demand zone is. I'm going to push that here. So we put that demand zone there. Supply zone, there's no confirmation at the moment. So just gonna wait and see for now. Oh wow, okay, really hit that. Look at that. God, good lord. If you were going long GBP in 2007, good, well done. You must have made a lot of money. Look at that. So that's a massive uptrend. Massive uptrend.
Buy stop executed.
Here and
Exit with loss.
our supply zone, so our new supply zone. I'm gonna move this now to here to this red candlestick down here as our demand zone because we had a huge uptrend here. I'm gonna put in. I'm just gonna go to short. Let's do another trade here.
Executed.
Let's try and hit this demand zone, this old demand zone. Let's put the stop loss. Okay, pretty damn high. So I would lose what, 70 quid if I get this wrong. So minus 70 if I get it wrong. And what's that? Plus 140 if I get it right. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going back to the downside, which is good. It's still hitting that supply zone. Oh my goodness.
Buy stop executed. Exit with loss.
This is the most frustrating thing ever. When did the US dollar, when did the US dollar become so bad? In 2007? Are you insane? Good lord, the US economy, or the British economy, was doing very, very well. That's remarkable. Oof. God damn, England lost your way. Really lost your way there. Okay. I'm gonna do another trade because I don't think I've done this strategy very, very well. It's kind of frustrating when I keep getting it wrong. And let me do this. So I'm gonna say this is our demand zone now. There is no supply zone at the moment. Good lord, when did the British pound was so powerful? Could not believe this. Not believe this. Still going into the uptrend. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I couldn't have picked a more random time in history, but I guess that's the point of trading, right? Everything has to be random. There is no, right way. I mean, there's no 100% way or strategy to use that is always going to turn a profit. I guess I don't know. You got to be as random as possible because the market is as random as well. So anyway, we can clearly see now that this is a supply zone. Let me just draw that out. So this is our supply zone, and then down here is okay. These zones are far too close, far too close. I don't understand how this works. Okay, I'm just gonna put that. Why can't I adjust a rectangle from both sides? This is a terrible platform to use. Just saying, guys. If anybody is using IG's Pro Real Time, really use Experience. Come on. I mean, look at this struggle. Right. Okay. Drawn it out there. Wonderful. Finally. Oh, right. It's for the red candle, the whole red candle. Okay, so now it's going into the downtrend. Let's see what happens. Does it hit that downtrend? Okay, we're almost there. Because it's going to hit our demand zone. Yep, okay. Right, it went through the demand zones. There's no logic here. Unless I'm just not finding the right supply and demand areas. But it doesn't seem there's much logic going on here. It's gone straight through our demand zone. If this was accurate, I should be able to put in a long position when it enters this zone, but it seems to just continually gone down. I guess we can, if I left a lot of these zone areas, I guess this would have become, this would have also been an old demand zone, which we can try. We can try and put it
So stop execute.
because
And exit with loss.
here. Hopefully it will go back up. And we'll see. Let's just put in a long position. Let's go here pretty high. Maybe, yeah, maybe about here. 127. So 127 if we get it right, and then let's try and target as tightly as possible. Maybe down here. So that's like minus 75 pounds if we get it wrong. Okay, so it's now entered a so-called demand zone that we saw earlier on. So that was 6th of November. So this is a week. So after 1 week, it is now dropped back down into that demand zone. Let's see what happens. No, still into the downtrend. Oh, I got stopped out.
Stop executed.
Got stopped out.
Exit with loss.
Exit with loss. Yep, that sounds about right. Okay, so supposedly, oddly, what this was one of my favorite trading strategies, but it doesn't seem to be working at all today. I don't think I'm doing a very good job here, or just around that time period was insanely volatile. I mean, just look at how bad the US dollar was to the British pound at this time. There was a lot of not much hang here. Good Lord. Wow. Okay. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more practice on this, and I'm certain I needed to use different time frames to find my entry and exit points in order for this to work properly, which I need to study a lot more. When did I do my first trade? Was the 22nd of October in 2007, and the last trade that I got stopped out was 12th of November. All right, so there you have it, traders. I'm a little bit disappointed because, yeah, trading supply and demand zones was one of my favorites. I had tried it before numerous times, and it had a bit of logic behind it. Although it seems today I didn't do very well. Down by about 100, down by about $80 or $100. But that's only on a margin, like a one-to-one margin. Of course, I could have maximized that loss or maximized the profit if it had worked. Trading supply and demand zones, it does work. I have seen a lot of material out there, but when I put it to the test, it's not working for me. Again, I think I will need to spend more time using different time frames with it. So in combination of these different time frames, and then refining my TP and my stop losses. I think this is going to be more important, as well as practicing a lot more in identifying these specific supply and demand zones. Anyway, there you have it, traders. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.